It's update time, and I'm Martin from Bike Directory. Just like to go over some bits that have been going on in the last few weeks. We haven't done as many updates as we'd like just because of various things going on. I'm sure you're probably all very aware with all this coronavirus stuff, things have been getting a little bit out of control. So we'll start with MotoGP, and I think you'll notice, if you've been keeping up with it, that the racing's been pretty close. We've had 6 winners out of 8 races, which is just unheard of, especially in recent years. I think to a certain extent, Marc Marquez being out has kind of helped that a little bit, but based on the way that the Honda has been performing this year, I don't know if that necessarily would have carried on this year as well. So as you'll see from our table, we have various winners, various podium sitters from pretty much anywhere up to 15th position. Orange dots are first position, green dots are second position, and blue dots are third position. So as you can see, Fabio is winning the championship based on the fact that he has more first places than anybody else. In fact, the only person to have more than one. So it's pretty exciting. As you can see, also at the top of the championship, there's only, I think I wrote it down, that there were 31 points between the top 5 riders. And as you can see, 25 points per race and plenty of racing left to the championship. That does mean that we've had Suzuki's winning races, we've had the satellite Yamahas, so the Petronas bikes, we've had KTM on the podium, and I think a Ducati somewhere, Miguel Oliveira is also on there. So it's been pretty exciting stuff. So keep on board with MotoGP, and I think you won't be disappointed. The Moto3 is always very exciting as well. If you've got BT Sport and you have a chance to watch live, then the Moto3 is always super unpredictable. It's definitely worth a watch. World Superbikes, and you guessed it, Jonathan Rea is currently leading the championship, and by 51 points, no less. With only 2 rounds to go, we find ourselves in a situation where actually it's not going to take too much for him to be uncatchable. The racing's pretty good. Jonathan Rea is very consistent, so barring a disaster or some kind of local lockdown in the countries where they can't get to the races, the championship shouldn't change too much. But what we do have, interestingly enough, are 5 British riders in the top 10. Unlike in MotoGP, where we've got 2 British riders in the whole field, we have 5 in the top 10. So they are Jonathan Rea, Scott Redding, Chaz Davis, Alex Lowes, and Leon Haslam. I'm just reading my notes just so I don't get it wrong. We also have Tom Sykes in 11th as well, and obviously he's a previous World Championship winner. It has been a long time since we've had somebody else as the championship winner. So Jonathan Rea has been the World Superbike champion since 2015. The last British World Superbike championship winner was Tom Sykes in 2013. So it's been quite some time since we've had any kind of change at the top. But with these other British riders sort of coming through, we're hoping that the next year or so we're going to get much more exciting racing. So again, keep up to date with those guys. On to British Superbikes. So they were recently out at Alton Park. It was actually a date that we missed on our calendar because of all of the shuffling around. I didn't even realise it was going to be on until it was done and dusted, which was a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. Basically, that championship is all over the place. Literally anyone in the top 10 has the ability to make the podium. So based on this chart that I've put together, you can see, like, first position is the orangey red colour, second place is green, and third place is blue. You can pretty much see that they literally can come from anywhere. Well, certainly in the top 10. So that whole championship is pretty close, and with 150 points left up for grabs, it's pretty much anyone's game. Just quickly touching on British Supersport, Rory Skinner has now won 7 of the 8 rounds, and he has come second in the other. He only, I think, needs to mathematically win one more race for him to be uncatchable, but that is potentially my maths not being correct. So good luck to Rory. He's doing a great job. We have some other events to tell you about as well from September. We can only really, based on time, tell you what they were. If you want to look them up, there all the information is available online. So we have Bemsee, which I will put the link up just down the bottom. They had a race at Donington. Fab Racing, who used to be Cool Fab Racing, had 2 rounds. They had one in Cumbria, one at Red Lodge. British Mini Bikes, who run the Ovale Championship that we normally cover, they had a race in Three Sisters, and the DTRA Flat Track Championship, they had a European round at the Crowd Race in Germany. As well as that, the Bike Shed in London, they had a track day for people who wanted to run their own stuff at Brands Hatch as well. We had 2 events that were not racing base events. One of them kind of classes as a racing event, but it's kind of more of a lifestyle type event. So Mallet London did the mile beach race on Margate Beach this last weekend. Basically, you turn up on your bike, you register, and then you turn up on your bike, and then you basically race people down the beach, which sounds like immense amounts of fun. The only problem for us is it's quite a long way to ride all the way there, get cold, wet, have a bunch of fun, but then you got to ride back cold and wet. So especially as Sunday, if you don't know, was which is always the last Sunday in September, was the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, or the DGR as some people like to call it. So the idea was to ride solo together this year because of the restrictions on social distancing. So we had a chance to get out. We had 3 of us. We went out for a ride. We rode from sort of the Solent area over to the New Forest, to the Sammy Miller Museum, where obviously they have a cafe, which is great, and then we also had a little bit of a look around the museum, and we rode back. So I think they're all the events that have currently happened already. Upcoming stuff includes the Friday, so obviously a race weekend normally would include the Friday for practice anyway. So this weekend, which is the 2nd to the 4th, so I'm just going to read up here because it's coming off the calendar. We've got the British Superbikes at Donington Park, Bemsee, which is the club racing, they have a round at the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, and World Superbikes are at Magny-Cours in France, as well as a Sammy Miller Museum BMW Club day on Sunday, so that's the 4th. Then we into 3 weeks of MotoGP. So we have the MotoGP in France, which I'm assuming is at Le Mans. I'm just going to check that. It is at Le Mans. Followed by the following weekend, we have Aragon Part 1 and then Aragon Part 2. So we've got 3 different weekends with MotoGP. Also, 9th to the 11th, we have Fab Racing are racing in Landau. I always want to say the wrong word, but it's Landau. And then weekend of the 16th, we've got British Superbikes at Brands Hatch, World Superbikes at Estoril, and British Mini Bikes in Wilton Mill. Weekend of the 23rd to the 25th is just that MotoGP, which is the round 2 of the Aragon. And then the 30th of November, 30th of October to the 1st of November is the British Mini Bikes in Teesside. So that's all the events that we've got listed for October. So if you have anything else that you think we're missing, please let us know, and we shall try and update you as quickly as possible. We will put some links below just here so you can see sort of what's going on. So have a great week and take it easy.